Right, welcome to another Tactics and Unit Showcase video. In this episode we're going to take a look at the Tech Priest Dominus here for the Adeptus Mechanicus. So just finished painting up the unit. The army's going under a number of changes at the moment and some new units being added. It seems like a lot of the units have dropped in points cost, and there's a fair amount of points reduction compared to 7th edition, and that's freed up space for me to add in some new and exciting units. One of those is another HQ. Well, there was no HQs originally with the 7th edition, and then 8th edition's come along to structure the armour properly. You need to take HQs. So one of the HQs is going to be this Tech Priest Dominus. Just finished painting him. We'll take a look at the model itself first of all, give you a nice close-up view. You can have a 360 view of the whole model just there, and then we'll get into unit build and upgrades that you can take, and then we'll talk about strategy as well. It's here that you can see tactics for using this particular unit for your Adeptus Mechanicus army. So take a look at the model. Very, very nice model indeed. This one here, painted up in my Mars colour scheme here to go with my Skitarii army. But I'll zoom in here so you can take a closer look at the model. Alright, so there he is. Very, very intricate model. There's a lot of fine plastic parts here, so you need to store him carefully. Make sure no bits break off, but beautiful model here. Basing here has been done just in my usual grey urban colour scheme. There's a painting tutorial for that, or terrain tutorial on the channel, and then my Skitarii colour scheme and technique exactly the same as you see in the painting tutorial. It's on this channel as well, so you can check that out, how to paint Skitarii. I've used exactly the same process to paint this model here as well. There's a couple of little features though. You've got some liquids inside these tanks just here, nice little detail to add on. Looks quite cool. The axe looks pretty good, pretty decent weapon as well. But he's quite a good sort of anchor point, this unit here. He's a pretty good HQ for giving some bonuses to other units. But we'll check that out a bit later on. So the stages for painting these is base colour has actually been sprayed silver, which gives you a massive head start, and then dark grey sprayed there for the base, and then highlighting and the wash is done on the base, and then here I do base colours, put them on, and then washes, a series of washes over the top. That just shades everything, links it all together, and then you just bring the colours back up again. That's the 3-part process that I use here. It's how I paint most of the models, and that's the process I used here for this Tech Priest Dominus. So fantastic model, and it is big. It's big enough model here, and a really good HQ to take. The kit itself is pretty much as you see it, but there's different weapons you can take, which we'll cover later on, and there are 2 different heads. I went for this head here because it sort of matches my sort of Skitarii ranges that I have, but there is more of a conical sort of cone head type option you can take in the plastic kit as well. But it's a beautiful kit here, really good HQ, especially if you're going for Skitarii. I think these match in really nice. But we'll take a look at him in the rules now. So just set him there. So new codex here then for the Adeptus Mechanicus. I think all these new codexes for 8th edition are fantastic. They're really good. And it's really exciting as each faction gets their new codex. Let's look at HQs. So Tech Priest Dominus. The structure of the army, I'm working on a new list at the moment for 8th edition, and as I mentioned earlier, the points are quite a lot lower, so I've been able to add in some new units. Drops a couple of units as well. If you want to see the new list, it is on the Plus channel in the army development video series. You can check that out way ahead of time before the army's finished, and you can even leave your comments and feedback and help change and add suggestions and so on for that force. But check out Striker Scorpion 82 Plus for that. There'll be exclusive battle reports as well for this army as well. But Tech Priest Dominus here, stat line movement 6, which is quick enough. Weapon skill 3+, ballistic skill 2+, strength and toughness 4, 5 wounds, 3 attacks, leadership 8, and 2 up saves. His stat line is, in my opinion, really good. It is really good. And then just get some points costs here. The new points cost 125 points. So he's He's not the cheapest of HQs, he's not really expensive, he's sort of in between, but 125 points, pretty good. Now he comes with an Omniscient Axe, which is 0, so that is incorporated into the cost of the model. He's armed, the standard loadout is a Volca Blaster and a Macro Stubber. I'll just get some points cost first of all. So Volca Blaster's 8 points, not that much, and then a Macro Stubber is 2 points. You add an extra 10, so 135 points if you go for that standard loadout, and again it's pretty cheap really, it doesn't cost too much to add the upgrades to him. So the Omniscient Axe isn't bad at all. It's a melee weapon, +1 strength, so you'll be fighting at strength 5s, he's up against things like Marines and so on, he'll be on freeze to wound. AP -2, which is healthy enough, and 2 damage as well. It's not unwieldy, there's no minuses there. So he's going to strike on 3+, +1 strength, AP -2 and 2 damage. So he can fight alright in combat, he's not too bad. And then what will protect him, you'd happily charge him into a unit of Marines, because he can fight against them pretty good, and his 2-up save is going to protect him nicely as well. 5 wounds to absorb, he's pretty good. Now, the Volca Blaster here is heavy free, range 24, strength 6. There's no minus on the AP, which I think is a weakness, and it's 1 damage. Each time you make a wound of a roll of a 6 with this weapon, the target suffers a mortal wound in addition to any other damage. Now, 3 shots then, 2s to hit. You're probably going to hit with 2 or 3 of them. And then, really, to do anything impressive, you're then going to need 6s to wound. You'll pick up a few. Volca Blaster's alright. Yeah, it's okay. It's not too bad. You are going to get a few mortal wounds here and there. But it is 6s, so it's not too impressive. And if you don't get those 6s, there's no -2 on the AP. Just there. Then the Macro Stubber is range 12. It's pistol 5, so that's the ability to fire that in combat as well. And then strength 4, no minus on the AP, and 1 point damage. So again, don't expect too much from that, but it'll pick up casualties here and there. I've used them in a few games, and the Macro Stubber has caused a couple of casualties. It's only 2 points, so that's not too bad. Now, the model may replace its Volca Blaster with an Eradication Ray. The Eradication Ray is 14 points. So you're going to pay an extra 6 points for this one, but that's the one I've gone for. I think that the ability to fire at 2+, and he's a character who can hide behind stuff and fire throughout the game, I think is worth going for something pretty good for shooting. So Eradication Rate's range 24, same as the Volca Blaster. It's heavy D3, so you're guaranteed to get a shot, but you could get 2 or 3. It's strength 6, it's AP -2, and 1 damage. Attacks from this weapon that target enemies that are 8 inches or less are resolved AP -4 and damage D3. It's a little bit nasty if things get closer, which may well be the case. I think Skitarii they can fight in combat, but they're more geared towards shooting. The opponent may well try and close in with different unit types, so it's helpful to have something that's a bit nasty up close. So that's the configuration I've gone for, the Eradication Ray. That's the one I go for, just for an extra 6 points to get something I think a bit nasty in the Volca Blaster. So that's that one. Then the model may replace its Macro Stubber with a Phosphor Serpenta. Phosphor Serpenta is 6 points instead of 2, so again you'd be paying an extra 4 points for that one. And that is range 18, assault 1, so you drop him from 5 shots down to 1 shot. Strength 5, AP -1, and then 1 damage. Units attacked by this weapon do not gain any bonus to their saving throws for being covered, so just a 1-shot weapon. So the fact that you're paying extra points for that, I've gone for the Macro Stubber. As it's not a massive difference. These weapons aren't amazing, any of them I wouldn't say are particularly incredible, but I've gone for the Eradication Ray. I think it's the best of all of them there, and then the Macro Stubber. So you can make your opponent make lots of saves with Macro Stubber, and then they fail a few saves and you cause them casualties. That's what I found has happened. You know, you've caused I've hit with 4 or 5 hits with a pistol, I've wounded a few Marines, and then has then failed a couple of saves, roll 1s and 2s, and then all of a sudden you've killed a couple just with the pistol. So, and the ability to fire it in combat as well. So macro stubber is what I've gone for. I wouldn't say that's the main reason why you take him. His stat line is good, his weapons are okay, but then there's some great bonuses here as well, some really good ones. What I plan to do in these tactics videos, just some feedback from subscribers. They've said, can you, if the new codexes, can you then cover some other combinations with like Warlord Traits and stratagems and things that you can use to enhance these even more, just some little tricks and things. So I'll include some of that in this video as well. But the standard loadout here, abilities, Master of Machines, and I think this is really, really helpful. The end of your movement phase, so you get a chance to move first. This model can repair a single friendly Forge Weld, whatever you're going for, or Questa Mechanicus. This is the Imperial Knights that appear in this book as well, which is exactly what I've gone for. I have an Imperial Knight in this new AdMech force, so he is able to repair them as well. Brilliant. So, I mean, the theme that seems to have sort of naturally developed in the army is like a screen of infantry and combat units, and then some heavy gear with the Dune Crawlers and the Imperial Knight, and then it working in amongst them. It will be this Tech Priest Dominus going around repairing stuff. I think it's a fantastic theme for the army, sort of protecting him. You can't be targeted his character most of the time unless it's snipers and so on, and then protected by that screen. You've got your heavier gear taking damage by long range firepower, and then he's there just repairing them as the game goes along. I think it's a brilliant ability, and there is a way to enhance it as well later on, which we'll have a look at. So a Questa Mechanicus model within 3 inches, but not itself. If the model being repaired is a Forge Weld model, it regains D3 lost wounds. If it's a Questa Mechanicus model, it regains 1 lost wound. So you are limited to that. It's only 1 wound that's lost, but you can enhance that a bit later. A model may not be the target of the Master of Machines ability more than once per turn. So you can't get multiple Tech Priest Dominus or other models that have the ability and then just start stacking up the repairs on the same model. It can only be done once per turn. So that's good. There is a limit there against the Questa Mechanicus for repairing him, but it's still pretty good. And then it's Forge Weld. Now, this is interesting here. Questa Mechanicus model, not vehicle. So he can repair machines and any models. So yeah, I mean, this really is interesting because he can repair your infantry units. Say you've got Rust Stalkers, for example, Infiltrators, one of them's down to a wound. Get him just to restore wounds on that. Then you have things like, say if you had 2 of these, he can't repair himself, but another one of these, I believe, could repair a damaged one. You know, they could repair each other, but not themselves. Just something to think about. Just that, so you could have a pair of these working together. You know, 2 of these charging around in combat with their axes would be pretty effective. And then I wouldn't hold back too much from putting these in combat because the stat line's pretty good. Combat weapons aren't bad, and the ability to repair this guy and restore him if any wounds are taken. Then another brilliant bonus here, and I've used this a number of times, is Masterwork Bionics. At the end of each of your turns, the model regains D3 lost wounds, so he can repair himself. And if you combine it with that, say he's down to 1 wound, another Tech Priest Dominus, for example, comes in and repairs him D3 wounds, and then he repairs himself D3 wounds. I believe he's able to do that and can virtually restore him back to full strength in a turn. So there's that. Lord of the Machine Cult, you can reroll hit rolls of 1 in the shooting phase for friendly units. That's units, any type of units within 6 get to reroll 1s. Reroll 1s is really helpful, especially hitting on 3+, you know, 1s and 2s miss, then really half of your misses will be rerollable. So very, very good. Now that only applies to Forge Weld, it doesn't include the Questa Mechanicus, sadly, so the Knight doesn't get to reroll 1s. Yeah, then comes a refractor field as well, so he does have a 5+ invuln. Again, another incentive there to get him into combat. So nasty combat units, you're going to keep him away, but to join in regular combat's no problem with him at all, I don't think. Then if he pulls out of combat or walks away, that's not going to affect the ability for him to heal himself or the bonus that he gives to other units. And it's not going to affect his ability to repair other machines and models as well. So I rate the Tech Priest Dominus here. I think the stat lines and the rules that you get are really, really good. So there's a couple of bonuses that I've sort of been going for with this one. That I've been using. I think just add a few enhancements. We'll point those out now. Just with Warlord Traits is one. There's a couple in there, and then also some stratagems to help out. Yeah, so just some stratagems here that are specific to him, some pretty good ones. Data Spikes one, it's just one command point. Use the stratagem immediately after fighting with an Adeptus Mechanicus character, so that's him. Resolve one additional attack against an enemy vehicle within an inch of the character if the attack hits, in which case he's going to be on a 3+. If the attack hits, the enemy vehicle suffers D3 mortal wounds. I mean, it's pretty good. It's just cost you a command point to use it. And on a 3+, you're going to inflict D3 mortal wounds. I think that's pretty cool. So that's worth remembering that one. And it's exclusive to characters, so it would need to be a model like him that uses it. But Data Spike, pretty good. So there's another incentive there for charging in against vehicles. And for vehicles, you've got the nasty close range shooting weapon there with the Eradication Ray. The axe isn't bad at all. And then you can use this Data Spike as well. Relics is something else I'm going to cover as well. There is a relic I usually take for him also. So there's one other one which I want to point out here. It's Tech Adept. Use this as one command point as well. There's some fantastic stratagems for the AdMech here in their codex. Use the stratagem after an Adeptus Mechanicus character from the army has used an ability to repair a friendly model, e.g. Master of the Machine. So he's repaired something. The character can immediately attempt to use that ability again and can even use it to repair the same model. So absolutely fantastic, really, really good. So now potentially that's just for the cost of one command point, very, very cheap. Restore D3 wounds and then potentially D3 wounds again. So you all of a sudden can just do a massive repair on a unit. So it's really good. Now it's interesting how that combines with. You can use the ability again. Yeah, so you can use it for the Questa Mechanicus. So it's friendly, yeah, it's friendly model. But the ability is affected the same way. So you'd get restore one wound, and then you could restore another wound if you use that one command point. But much more effective against, like Gene Crawlers, for example. Potentially restore loads of wounds on that very, very quickly, much to the frustration of your opponent. So pretty good. Love the ability to repair. I mean, it fits the theme so good. But that's those two I point out from all of these specifically for him. There's two really good ones. Data Spike and Tech Adept, both very, very good. Now we'll cover Warlord Traits next. There's a number of these are okay. There's one particular one that I like to use, but monitor Malevolence. Once per battle, you can reroll a single hit roll, wound roll, or damage roll made for your Warlord. In addition, if your army is battle forged and your Warlord is on the battlefield, roll a 6 each time your opponent uses a stratagem on a 6, you gain a command point. So there's that ability there to generate a few extra command points. You can. Next one is Magos Biologis. You can reroll foul wounds when attacking enemy infantry, beast, or monster. With your Warlord, it's okay. Your opponent must subtract 1 from any hit rolls they make for any of their vehicles that target your Warlord. Probably not going to need that. Necro Mechanics, this is the one that I go for here. Each time your Warlord uses an ability to repair a friendly model, the model gains or regains an additional wound. So now, all of a sudden, and this is free of charge here, Necro Mechanic, if you really want him to go for this repair ability, repairing a regular model Forge Weld, whatever the Forge Weld is, then it's D3 plus 1. So you're going to get between 2 and 4 wounds restored. And it really helps out if you're going to try and repair an Imperial Knight. It's 1 wound plus 1. So it's always 2 wounds every time. You're doubling the effectiveness of his repairs. Very, very helpful indeed. And then if you combine that with your Tech Adept, you could, for 1 command point, just repeat the whole repair again. So you've got the potential now, with that combination, to restore 8 wounds in a turn. It's just mad. It's just madness. I think it's one of the most effective repairs that's out there in 8th edition at the moment. So some handy little combinations there that would work really well and just enhance this model, just make him even better. Chorus to Techness, whilst Warlord is on the battlefield, you can reroll the dice whenever you randomly select Canticles. It's okay. And then Prime Hermeticon, friendly forged infantry units within 6 of your Warlord can reroll failed hit rolls in the fight phase. That's not bad at all, but I like this one here. That one, just there. There are some other contenders. I have Mars Forge Weld, and I can add, for their specific one here, I can add 3 inches to the range of any aura abilities. That's helpful enough. That's static SARM code, that one's okay. And then whether these would influence what Forge Weld you go for. Greya here, units within 6 of Warlord can shoot with assault and rapid fire weapons even if they're enemy units within an inch. If they're own unit, that's quite cool. Ordered efficiency. This one's quite good. Units within 6 of Warlord can fall back. You can still shoot during its turn, but you must subtract 1. If you're going to pull out a combat, that one's alright. You can add 1 to your invuln saves, so your refractor field goes up to a 4+, which is alright. I still rate this one. That's his main focus, is repairing, and that's a massive enhancement. That +1 is really good. All damage suffered by Warlord is reduced by 1. It's okay, but he can repair himself anyway. Xenorite Studies, have 1 to any wound rolls made for your Warlord against units that do not have Chaos, Imperium or unaligned faction keywords. And then first hand field testing, when setting up your Warlord, choose one of their weapons. This cannot be in Arcana Mechanicum. Increase strength damage by 1. That's not bad. That's for a riser. That one's okay. But out of all of them, I like the Necro mechanic. It's just a guarantee, reliable +1 every time you repair. And so I cluster my Dune Crawlers and Knight together, and then have him in the centre, just dishing out those repairs every turn. Because you're going to take damage turn 1 onwards, pretty much. So he's going to be using that for the whole game. Imagine. Think of it this way, if he's restoring tons of wounds throughout a game, say he restores 15 wounds during the game, which is, if you keep him alive, it's easily doable. He's virtually recreated an entire Dune Crawler, which means he's paid for himself in points just by the repairs that he's done. Plus the ability to reroll the ones, so those units that are being repaired and sitting there, they're chucking out all of their shots, rerolling ones because he's nearby. Fantastic. So rate him very much indeed. So that is the Tech Priest Dominus. Now, take a look at some relics here. There is one that I actually usually take. I'll run through the majority of these because they're all pretty good. I'll point out the one that I usually go for. But you got Pater Cogtooth. It replaces the Omniscient Axe. Now, remember, the axe is running at +1 strength, AP -2 and 2 damage. Then free of charge, you can, if your army's battle forged, you get one of these. So the Pater Cogtooth is +2 strength, so you get extra +1 on strength. So he's fighting at strength 6, and then AP -2, and then 3 damage. So nice hefty amount of damage there, an extra bit of damage available for him if he goes to the Pater Cogtooth. Anzion's Pseudo-Genitor. Each time the bearer fights, they can make D6 additional attacks using the following profile. So this is quite handy if you're going against hordes or larger amounts of infantry. D6 attacks, strength 4, AP -1, and you reroll your wounds against infantry units, which is alright. And then Auto Caduceus of Archenland. At the start of each of your turns, the bearer of this relic heals 1 wound. That's an extra wound he heals, as well as being able to heal D3 wounds on top of that as well. In addition, when the bearer uses an ability to repair a friendly AdMech model, such as Master of Machines, you can reroll the dice determine how many wounds regains. That D3, if you roll a 1 or a 2 and you only restore 1, you can re-roll it just to make that even more reliable. So you could go for that. If you really want the ultimate repair machine, you could go for that one. You got Uncreated Gauntlet. There's loads of choices here. Model with a Power Fist, so nope. Model with Phosphor Serpentis. If you do go for the upgrade, you can improve it to range 18, assault 3, strength 5, AP -3. That's not bad. And there's no bonus for cover. Yeah, Raiment of the Technomartyr. Roll a dice, each time you take a wound on a 6, you ignore the wound. In addition, each time a friendly 4-job model within 6 of the bearer fires Overwatch and you roll a 6, you can make 1 bonus attack for the same weapon against the charging unit. So it's not bad, it's okay. Scry Skull. Here, once per game in your shooting phase, the bearer can unleash the power behind the Skull of Eldar Nicola. Not Scry Skull, it's Skull of Eldar Nicola, which is in the old 7th edition codex. They've transferred this over here. Unit within 2d6. For each enemy vehicle, unit within 2d6 of them roll 2+, suffers a mortal wound. But it's once per game. I wouldn't really rate that. And then the Omniscient Mask. You can reroll failed hit rolls in the fight phase. So friendly Skitarii units within 6 of the bearer of the Omniscient Mask. It's helpful enough. And then these ones are specific to the different Forge Worlds. So for Gratia you get an extra command point. This may be helpful enough. This is one that I take then. Usually, this is the Red Axe. It replaces the Omniscient Axe. It's +1 strength. It's AP -5, so it just hacks through armour and then 2 damage. It's difficult though. I mean, that one and the Patercog Tooth, both good really, either or of those two, but it just enhances that axe. I found he is used in combat. I do charge him in, so give him a nastier weapon helps out. I think those 2 options are pretty good. Out of all those so far, upgrading the axe seems to be the best option at the moment. Lucius, I don't have access to these, but if you go down the route of any of these Forge Worlds, Lucius model only. The bearer of the Solar Flare can teleport instead of moving normally. When they do so, remove them from the battlefield and then place them anywhere that's within 30 inches of their starting position or 9 inches away from enemy models. I can't see why you'd need to do that for that one. The Adamantine Arm is Metallica. It's ×3 strength, AP -3 and 3 damage. That's horrendous. God. It's a horrid weapon. The weapon can only be used to make 1 attack each time it fights. That's a shame. You only get 1 attack with it, but it's nasty. ×3 strength, AP -3 and 3 damage. It's a nasty weapon. The Omniscience Hand, Styges 8 is roll a dice at the end of each fight phase for each enemy unit within 1 inch. On 4+, it's a mortal wound. That's each unit, not model, so it's going to be semi-effective. You know, you're surrounded by 20 models from 1 unit. It's only going to be 1 roll of 4+ to cause a mortal wound, so not really. Then Weapon XCIX here, Riser, model with a Volca Blaster, which is what oh no, I haven't gone for that one, but it's it replaces the Volca Blaster. It's heavy 3, range 24, strength 7, AP -1 and 2 damage. There's an improvement there. If you roll a 6 to wound, it's mortal wound as usual. The Eye of Xylexum. Start of each of your shooting phases, pick an enemy vehicle within 18 of the bearer. You can reroll wound rolls of 1 for friendly Gripana units that target that unit. And if it's chaos, it's rerolls. Total rerolls, not just ones. So, I mean, specific to him, I usually like to upgrade the axe just to make it a bit more nastier. If you want to make him the ultimate repair model, then take the Auto Caduceus of Arcane Land there. The ability to reroll that D3 is helpful enough. Yep. And it's auto heal a wound every turn as well, so he's pretty, just really nicely adds to his durability. But that's the bonuses there you can get from those relics. So I'm not going to roll up any dice in this one, it's just a one-off character here in this episode. But so you've got that 6-inch zone, so usually try and pack in the units quite tight to that. He's a character, so you can hide him quite nicely. It'd be hard for the opponent to root him out. You have a screen of infantry I usually play, and then the Dune Crawlers, and then the Imperial Knight nearby as well, just handy. And then whichever one takes damage, he can immediately move, so you can move 6, nicely get within range. You don't want him having to walk a long distance to try and reach a vehicle that's been damaged, so I usually pack in tight with the Skitarii, and then he's able to restore those wounds. And then also without having to walk a long distance away and then leave the main group, try and keep them all clustered together. A lot of Skitarii firepower's nice long range, so you can keep it packed tight and then still cover most of the battlefield as well. But good stat line. The main focus for him, I focus in on his repairability that you can use on different vehicles and models, and then a little bit of backup in close combat, because he's not too bad when he fights in close combat as well. But there it is. That is the Tactica and showcase video here for the Tech Priest Dominus. Keep a lookout for more Tactica videos for the AdMech. Plan to do all of the units as well as the new releases. If you want to keep up to date with this new army or the new army list, then check out the Plus channel. And then there is an in-depth painting tutorial on the Plus channel as well. I'll show you how to paint one of the Skitarii Dune Crawlers as well, and the Imperial Knight. Actually, there's a full painting tutorial of how to paint the Imperial Knight as well. But there it is. That's the video. Keep a lookout for more tactics videos in the future. Thanks for watching, and tune in next time.